Welcome to Imagine It down here at Imagination Station, joined once again by Chief Scientist Carl Nelson and a very special guest today. Carl, introduce.
We've got a summer camper here. What is the summer camp you're in?
Super Splatter Science.
Super Splatter Science. They do all sorts of messy stuff. This is Cyrus, and he's going to help us with a activity they do during messy camp, right? What's it called?
Oobleck.
Oobleck. Okay, what are the components of Oobleck? Dan's never seen this before.
1 part water and 2 part cornstarch.
Okay, let's go into the cornstarch. Take your measuring cup. I'm going to give you, how much? 2 cups here? Is that 2 cups? Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, put it in. That's okay. This is messy camp. It's messy camp, and we need 2 cups of that, right? So we're going to do 2 cups of cornstarch. Yeah.
He came prepared with the jacket. Yeah, I've got him in my suit pants.
Okay, now the rest of the recipe is with Dan. He's got the water, right? Okay. So how much water should he add?
1 part.
1 part. Okay, so Dan, go ahead and add 1 part of water to his measuring cup there.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Now, this is the starting point for the recipe, okay? If you do this at home, add a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Usually it's like a little, yeah, that's good. Okay, Cyrus, pour it in there. Now, Cyrus, go ahead and mix it up. I'll take this from you. This is where you determine if your mixture is correct, like digging your hands in and mixing it up.
I like how he dives into it with a reckless abandon, just hands-on approach. Let's go.
It's messy science, and that's looking pretty good. Sometimes you might have to add a little cornstarch if it's a little too liquidy, or a little bit of water if it's a little bit too dry. Now, I don't know if you noticed, are you having a hard time mixing that up? How come?
Because if you give a force on it, it turns into a solid, and when you let it pour, it turns into a liquid.
I think we need a demonstration of that. What are you talking about? Show us. So you're pulling it out.
Squeeze it, it's like, it turns.
If you squeeze it, it turns into a solid. So cool. But look at that. If you let it drip, it turns into a liquid. Nice. I think we should have Dan do a little experiment over there. Okay, so Cyrus, go ahead and...
Is it okay if I let it drip on the floor?
It's okay if you let it drip. Yeah, this is messy science. It's okay.
I knew I took off my watch for a reason. There we go.
Cyrus, give him a big clump of oobleck on top of that tray. So you see, when he grabs it and squeezes it, it stays solid. But then on the tray...
A melted ice cream looking.
So this is called a shear thickening liquid. When you add a force to it, it gets thicker. And we release that force, it becomes thinner, it becomes more like a liquid. So Cyrus, 1 more scoop, and then Dan's got his big demonstration for us here. All right, 1 more scoop. So I told you that it thickens up when you apply a force to it, and it thins. It's thinning right now, almost like pancake batter. Dan, what I want you to do is with your right hand, open palm, slap that as hard as you can.
Okay.
Do it. Do it again.
Barely anything. If anything, it's almost a little bit more of the cornstarch on here, still from the mixing.
Nothing happens, right? Because we add a force.
It's like 99% dry, just the tiniest bit.
Just try to scoop that up like Cyrus is doing. See if you can. At first, it becomes really hard.
Really dry.
It's very difficult to begin with, but if you work it, you can get some. That's probably good. Now, go ahead and pull that up high. Release the force, it begins to flow. So some people call this a non-Newtonian fluid because it doesn't have a viscosity that is constant like water might. But most liquids in the world are actually non-Newtonian. Paint is the exact opposite of this. Paint, when you dip a paintbrush in, the paint sticks to the brush. Okay. But when you apply a force, it flows smoothly. It's just the opposite of this.
It's interesting putting just the fingertips in too, because at first you got the resistance and then just gradually coming on through.
Yeah, Cyrus, go ahead and grab some. Show us one more time what that looks like when you, because he's messy, he's got the white lab coat there. Go ahead and hold it up and see how it flows like a liquid. Can you do a fingertip ball? So,
Cyrus, I gotta say, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
Check this out. Look, if he applies a force to it, and he can keep it as a solid little ball in his hands, and it's not dripping, because he's applying a force, so it thickens up. But now let it flow, and then it starts to drip like a liquid. So it's oobleck. Now, there is one super important thing that you should never do with oobleck. What is it, Cyrus?
Put it down the drain.
Never put it down the drain. It will harden, and you'll be calling a plumber. That's the experiment you don't want to do.
This is the coolest thing. I know we could go like 10, 15 minutes on this one, but I think we're getting sort of out of time. Whoa, I got a bit on you there. All right, that's Oobleck, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan, that's Carl, that's Cyrus, and that is how you imagine it.
Now.